I'm Michael Heidinger for Radio St. Rose, and today I'll be speaking with local musician Joe Nacco about the songs he writes and the music he performs.
She was dancing to the silence of a mystery. We were writing out the words to a history. You were looking like an actress from a movie scene, and I was staring hard at what I couldn't believe. But you remembered all the words to a 90s tune, and you corrected me. When it's coming up on the harmonies, you can count on me. When we sing, don't let it go. We're coming through in stereo. You never know. So we tell the tale on video.
So let's start at the beginning. How did you first become interested in music?
Well, I was, it depends on how far back I were to go. When I was 5, I started listening to Duran Duran and Michael Jackson and was just dumbfounded by the whole thing. And then 12, I got into, Guns N' Roses and the whole movement of, Headbangers Ball and whatnot. And that really is what turned me on to playing guitar. But the pop side of things when I was younger.
So that's where you started out with, is with the pop side of things.
Yeah, that's where most of my music is, some kind of cross between me playing guitar and me writing pop vocals over it. So.
That's interesting, because I think Kiss was the first band I was into when I was a little kid, and that was probably mostly because of the image.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's interesting, pop music.
Yeah, really, and I've always had an ear for it.
I can hear that in your music, because although you have the heavy guitars sometimes in the solos,
but everything's melodically struck.
The catchy pop songs.
Yeah, I was really into that stuff as a kid.
When did you actually take it beyond being a fan and pick up an instrument and give it a shot to try and play something?
My sister played piano, so we had piano teachers that came in and taught her, so I would fiddle around on our little family piano, and it was actually given to me as a baptism present, I believe. And my sister started using it to play on, and then, as I got older, I started fiddling around with it, but it was really, once again, at 12, where I, grabbed that guitar, and I really wanted to play drums, but, my parents, obviously, they didn't want the noise, so.
Yeah, I've been there. I wanted to, I begged my parents for a drum set, and there was no way it was going to happen.
So now I have a little fondness for playing drums on the side that I can't shake.
Well, that's the way it is with a lot of musicians. When at a practice rehearsal or something, if the drummer steps away from his set, somebody's going to sit down and start banging away.
Everybody, yeah.
Did you ever have any formal lessons, or are you self-taught?
Mostly self-taught. I had three different teachers at 3 different times, and when I first started, I took 3 months of lessons from Ed Munger at Drum Sound, and then I took a break from him, and then I went to this one guy for a year, and all we did was break down heavy metal songs and their solos and their the harmony parts of them, and so I didn't really get any structure from that, but we focused in on that, and then that was all when I was real young, and then maybe 5 years ago I went to Mike Campee's because I wanted to play faster, and I wanted to figure out how to speed pick and alternate pick so I could clean up my playing and get some fundamentals in.
So he really helped you out with techniques.
I took 4 lessons from him, and it really at the time went in and out one ear. And I felt kind of bad because it didn't really go well. But then maybe 3 or 4 years ago I made a New Year's resolution that if I was going to sit down every morning and drink coffee and look and surf the internet, I might as well hold a guitar in my hand and start reteaching myself the fundamentals. So every single day since then, and I went back to all those things he told me, and I started doing them just robotically while I was drinking coffee and looking at things on the internet. And so
that's a good idea.
Completely cleaned up my playing.
I mean, internet surfing wastes a lot of time.
It's a supreme waste of
time. I
time.
actually do vocal exercises when I'm reading my emails.
Oh, do you?
So instead of 20 minutes of just sitting there, I'm actually getting something accomplished.
Yeah.
While I'm delete.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's all, everything's multitasking. Once you get past a certain age, you've got to do more things just to get through the day.
Well, that's one of the things I remember when I was younger, is that it seemed like there was so much time to play guitar and to play music, and it was just you could literally spend hours at a time just
Yeah, you took it for granted. I mean, I know for some, like from 14 to 17, I did nothing but lock myself in a room with my And Justice for All, Hal Leonard songbook, and my Appetite for Destruction book, and just ran through every lick. But now, it's just, you got to squeeze it in somewhere.
And speaking of those teenage years, were you ever active with any bands or the high school music scene? Or?
No, but I really wanted to. Well, we did some things, but I remember you playing, and and the thing is I remember that having a big impact on me when I saw you playing with a band, and I forget the name of it, but you guys were playing Turkey Jam, and I know you guys were up there playing Metallica, and I think you had a Les Paul. And I think that was the thing that stuck in my brain was that you guys were up playing Metallica with Les Pauls, and I was like, that's so badass.
The Les Paul was probably Bob Katie.
Yeah.
I had a Strat.
But and you were over there flying away on the guitar, and I remember that having an impact. There were a handful of people that I saw growing up that were older than me that I was just, kind of, and you were definitely one. That's funny. So I wanted to bring that up. I thought about that, and I thought, what was the name of the band?
I believe the name of the band was Blackjack.
Yep, that's right.
We did a lot of Guns N' Roses.
And a lot of Metallica.
I don't actually remember the Metallica.
You guys did one. You had to have. You had to have done something, because I remember just sitting there thinking, those are all the things I study, man. That guy's flying away on the guitar up there, man. So, that had an impact. Man. We eventually played Turkey Jam when we got older, because I think you might have been a couple years ahead of me. And
I think you were a freshman with the last year that I was in high school.
Yeah, we did. I didn't sing at that time. I think I just played lead guitar.
That's how I started out. Was just lead guitar.
Yeah.
And eventually got to the point where I almost felt embarrassed because I could do all these pyrotechnics with the guitar, but I couldn't sit down and play a simple 3-chord, 3-minute song and sing it.
Right.
So that was something that after high school I really worked on.
Yeah. Things changed so much after that time period. I remember, Nirvana, that movement, it changed the way we had to sing. So
that changed the way that, guitar solos were pretty much out when the whole grunge thing came in.
And now anybody could sing as long as you could scream.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. You didn't need to be singing like Steelheart.
Well, that was the thing back in high school bands when I was there, is you couldn't find a singer that could sing like Axl Rose or Robert Plant or something.
Yep.
After the grunge thing came into vogue, then it was...
Everybody could.
Yeah.
Everyone could do it.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what opened the door up.
So after high school, did you... I
quit right after high school. I remember I quit completely, sold everything, and then I don't know...
Really?
Somewhere around 21, I picked it back up again. I think it was a buddy from high school gave me his old acoustic guitar, and he's like, "You're so good, why don't you play it?"
So it was just happenstance that somebody gave you an old guitar.
That was it. And then I started writing songs. I took a different approach to it. I started writing and recording. I remember buying a 4-track and just slowly building an arsenal of studio stuff, and now my studio is out of control. But like at that time, it was like I had an acoustic guitar, a bad drum machine, a 4-track, and it just slowly grew. And then everybody comes to my house and they go, "Where the heck did you get all this stuff?" And I'm like, it's like 20 years of just collecting something every 6-7 months.
So after, in your early 20s, when you started playing music again, how long was it before you got involved with a band?
I would say it was 23. Me and a couple of my friends started up a band, and we called it Head. And we named it after a guy who had a big head, but we also realized the connotations of naming our band Head. But at the time, they were going, "What are we going to call the band?" And I said, "We're going to name it after so and so and call it Head." And they all laughed because we always were picking on this kid for having a big head, and literally a big head, not. Yeah, that's what it was. And we played for a while. We switched members a lot, and we gigged out pretty regularly from 99 to 2002 or 3, and then that's when I just decided to go with doing solo stuff. And
so was this all basically the Albany local scene, or?
Yeah, once I went solo, I moved out to California. I played a handful of shows out there, but
which part of California?
I was originally born there, and I went back to the area where I was born from. So it was Santa Ana area, but this time I was in Huntington Beach, but it's all Orange County. So.
I'm not that familiar with
California. It's all just south of the county of Los Angeles. Right below it is Orange County.
So is the music scene worth it? I mean, you have hundreds, if not thousands of people that move out there.
My honest take on it was from going out and seeing everything was that it was incredibly similar to here and New York City, and it was just on a bigger, denser scale. You could walk into a bar and you could find a cover band playing, and you could walk down the road a little further and find a guy playing acoustic guitar with his case open, and then you could walk in and see an original band playing for 45 minutes and getting shuffled out in 2 minutes for the next band to get up. I went up to Hollywood and checked all those places out, and it just was just a lot more people. So you go into Valentine's, and you know how Valentine's is, and then you go down and play some places in New York City, and they're kind of similar to there and kind of similar to the Bogies. And then I went out there and I looked at some of the places in Los Angeles, and that's just what it reminded me of. They all were kind of cut from the same cloth, and you had the same, you brought your crowd in, or you didn't bring your crowd in. There wasn't this. I guess we're all hoping that there's going to be this mass of people out there waiting for live performers to perform, and I think at the end of the day, so much of it is just how many of your own friends and family end up showing up to see you play. I went out there, and it was expensive to live out there, so I think through most of my 20s, I sort of kept it, I don't want to say a dumbed-down job a little bit, although that might be rude, to the job, but I kind of kept a lower profile on the job because as much as there goes a lot of work goes into the music, and the stress level on a job sometimes can have an impact on how much you're playing. So
definitely.
When I got out there, it was so expensive that I didn't have any choice, but the rents were like triple. So I had to take my day skills and develop them a little bit, and I think I just got so inundated with work that I just didn't play as much as I wanted to. I still did what I could, but it was just...
Yeah, work will definitely...
Yeah.
It'll kill the aspirations.
Yeah, I finished school. I put everything into work, and
And if so, the New York City and the California scenes are pretty much similar to the upstate New York, except for the
obviously the
cost.
Sheer volume of people and the cost. Yeah, it's just... This is a microcosm of the way it is, except there's like 500 more Valentines, and there's 500 more bayous and Katie O'Byrne's and cover venues for you to play. There's tons more ice houses, and all those bars. They're just multiplied by 400 out there. But you walk in the door, and it's all the same thing. They're all playing the same cover songs.
Don't let it go. We're coming through in stereo. You never know. So we tell the tale on video.
You've got some great songs, and
thank you.
I believe you've been featured on the regional music show EQX-Posure on WEQX.
Yeah, over the years we've had a good amount of involvement with them. Jason Keller used to help us out a lot back in the day as well. EQX has stayed.
Okay, so let's see, Jason Keller. That was probably early 2000s.
Yep.
Because I had a few songs back in around 2004, 2005.
Yep, I remember.
But Jason Irwin was in charge then.
Yep. The one we had a Christmas song that was called "It's Christmas Time, Let's Get Drunk," and
yes, I've seen the YouTube video.
That stayed in rotation in EQX throughout the years, even though we stopped hounding them to play it because it's all about hounding them to play.
I may have heard that on the radio and not even known that was you then, because the EQX-Posure used to have a Christmas show.
Yep.
But you're saying that you actually got airplay on the station, not just that program.
Yeah, legit. They put it into regular rotation during their Christmas time. I don't know if they did this year, but I was hearing up until maybe 2 years ago, people were kind of randomly going, I heard your song on the radio, not on the EQX-Posure. So
that's cool.
That's funny that was the song.
Looking like November, it's that time of year again. To save $100 that I'd rather spend on you. No one ever likes the gifts, I know it's what they think. I'm getting all stressed out, I think I'll get myself a drink. It's Christmas time, it's Christmas time, so let's get drunk. I got a bunch of relatives that do not get along, and everyone gets mad at me cause I can't stay for long. And when it's finally over, you can find me not too far, staring at the liquor bottle sitting on a bar. It's Christmas time, it's Christmas get drunk. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. So let's get drunk.
I had one other song called Faker that was in the intro to a documentary on college hookups. And it's called like The Spitting Game, and it was in a bunch of festivals, and it's been on TV. But I signed a bad deal on that one. The lady contacted me on MySpace, and she was in Newport Beach when I was in Huntington Beach, and asked, she's like, "This is perfect for this movie I'm making." I'm like, "Go ahead and use it. You don't want anything?" I'm like, "No," because I didn't think anything of it. Now I'm on IMDb for it. I see like there's a composer page up there, and I'm going, "What the heck?"
Yes, I actually. In researching this interview, I typed your name into Google, and that came up, and I was like, "Is that the same guy?"
Yeah, yeah. It was just
because I saw that The Spitting Game, and I'm like, "Well,
yeah,
never heard of that." It's fun. Have you ever actually seen it?
No. I tried to get copies of it. We tried to look for it online because there was a drummer that sometimes I play drums on it. My friend played drums on that track, and both of us were trying to hunt for this movie all over the internet so that we could see it on the opening credits, but I've never seen it.
It's not out there.
I couldn't find it.
That's kind of strange because you have Amazon and all kinds of.
Well, I'll be honest, we weren't going to buy it. we were looking for it for free.
A pirated copy that gets uploaded.
Well, we were on YouTube. I don't know if we were I don't know if we ever did a pirate search for it, to be honest with you. I think we were just looking for it on YouTube and trying to find clips of it, and went on their website trying to see if you could watch it.
Speaking of YouTube, I've noticed that you have a cover of a Guns N' Roses song, Sweet Child of Mine, which has, let's see, a couple days ago I looked and it was 81,634 views. And then today I checked and it had gotten 146 more views in just these past couple days.
Yeah, it took off on us.
That's a pretty high view count there.
There was a point where it was up to like 400 a day, and then it leveled off. And I think what happened was it became a featured video on them. And, I kind of researched a little bit because I'm like, how the heck am I getting 82,000 views? But I think what happens is if you get enough comments and you get enough likes on it, I think that if it's enough positive likes, then it sort of kind of takes on a life of its own and becomes a featured video.
Okay, so
and they recommend it to people who like.
Not just sitting out there on its own.
No, and I didn't promote it. We just put it up, and we put
somebody's helping it along.
Well, YouTube is. I think YouTube sees if it's been viewed, if it's been commented upon, and then it just literally picks up steam because there's like hundreds of comments on it, and there's like 750 likes on it. So then it builds its own little momentum there, and it's not the best we've ever done it. We put it up with Creep, and I think Creep has got like 12,000 views or something like that. And then we did my original song with it, which was like Souls, and it had 500 views. And those three were all put up at the same time. So
how have the videos for your original songs compared to the covers?
The few, they don't get quite as many views, but they've done real well. And the Times Union was really friendly on a few of them because they did some articles and did some mentions, and I think the Gazette did as well. The She's a Zombie thing, we kind of took over Schenectady on a Sunday.
Yep.
It
was pretty much emptied out anyway then.
Yeah, at 3:00 we figured everybody went home, and 6:00 the sun went down, and everything shuts down at 3:00 down there. So we knew we kind of had that alleyway to ourselves, and people were pretty respectful of staying out of the way. And then we just started collecting as many people and said, "You want to be a zombie in the video?"
See, when I watched that video, I just assumed that you were freaking everybody out. That was all the passersby and everything. I didn't realize that it was a sort of slow.
When they were attacking me in the alleyway, two people came up that alleyway and looked a little shocked. And then they realized what was going on because there was a camera there. And so most people kind of got it and stayed out of the way. But for the most part, no, it was completely empty down there. I mean, you could see the streets when I'm running down the street. It's a ghost town. It was great. It worked out perfect.
You had another video for a song called Closer.
Yep.
Which you well, you basically stopped in traffic. How did you actually back traffic up, or was that just a stop and go real quickly?
We didn't stop it, but I mean, it got stopped. People see.
There was a car behind the car, looking like the driver was thinking, "What's going on?"
Yeah, he was staying off a little bit. He saw what was going on. Most people do. They know, and they kind of stay out of the way. And
do you ever bother to get filming permits, or you just?
No, we just go out and do it. And the camera that we use is like, it's a high definition, handheld camera, but it's not like a big giant thing where anybody's gonna go, well, look at those guys, they must be filming a movie. People probably think we're.
So you didn't have a film crew behind you?
Heck no, not even close. Most of these things and we just have fun doing it. So and everybody that gets involved, usually I've got different people involved in it every time, and everybody has fun.
Drunk and high and smashing bottles. I only tried to make you come a little closer, baby. We can work out anything. Your eyes are getting colder when you crush my loving arms and walk away.
You get a lot of independent musicians that don't even bother trying to make videos, but I think YouTube is a great platform if you're trying to get exposure.
Things have changed dramatically, and the last two songs, "She's a Zombie" and "Stereo," were both written because we wanted to make a video.
Okay. They were specifically pictured as...
They were, and I don't want to say I wrote Stereo about aliens, because it's not about aliens, but literally I wrote those songs because we had these ideas in our head after making the other videos that were like, let's do a zombie video. And it was really before The Walking Dead got popular, because I know it looked after the fact like we were just trying to bite off that, but it really wasn't. It was before that we came up with that idea.
Yeah, zombies are almost as popular as vampires.
And now they are. And then after that, I mean, I've always loved aliens more than I love zombies. I mean, I watch X-Files all the time, even still to this day. I just keep running through that series over and over again, and that's why we did it, because we wanted to make videos. And that's the Michael Jackson thing from when I was a kid. I mean, like, he made videos. And
yep. Well, yeah, he revolutionized MTV. I mean, because when they first started, they were kind of they didn't have much of a direction, and then he came out with these amazing videos with production values. And
they were like movies. And
yep.
To me, that was just so cool. And I think I spent too much of my time in my 20s doing original music and probably trying to cater the music to like what was going on and trying to be successful and trying to make it. And now that I'm old enough where I'm like, I'm not going to be a famous pop star. Now I do everything that I wanted to do. So I jam guitar solos in the middle of pop songs because I like to play guitar solos, and
nice.
I make videos because I want to make videos. And then I throw them out there. People like them, they do. And if they don't, I really couldn't care less at this point in time. We just have so much fun.
Well, I mean, that's the way to go, because...
Yeah, it works out so much better now.
Yeah, you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you're younger, and you have dreams of making it big. And
yeah, you really got to do what you want and just have fun and don't worry about any of it. If I took that advice years ago, I would have been happier. I'm not sure we'd be famous or successful or whatever they judge it by, but rich would be nice at this point.
Well, that doesn't seem to happen for a lot of musicians.
No, I don't, and I don't know what the answer is to that one.
Sell out for commercials, get a Volkswagen ad or something.
Yeah, that's what they say on all these, taxi music service and CD Baby. They're always talking about trying to license your music out to. It's not that simple. You really got to be friends with filmmakers, and they got to hook you up, because it just doesn't work that way. I gotta be honest with you. Since 2004 or 5. I mean, this would be the first technical interview that I've done, because I just haven't even tried to push any of this stuff anymore. I haven't tried to contact and knock down newspapers' doors anymore, and we just...
That's one thing I really hated when I was really trying to give it a go, was the idea of pushing myself on people and trying to sell myself, and I really disliked that.
It's tough. You need somebody pitching for you, and you need to be your own.
Yeah, you got to hire people to.
You can't sell yourself, and then you need to find somebody that's really going to take to your cause and believe in you and pitch you like crazy. And they got to be a keen salesperson to do that.
Plus, I also think you got a lot of. You have a lot of amateur musicians now. I mean, the field is it's not like in the past where you only had you had a Jimi Hendrix and a.
Right.
And a Eddie Van Halen. It's like everybody now plays.
Well, you had locally, you have tons and tons more bands than we ever had. And we were all so excited at the time, the few of us that were able to operate back in those days, we're so excited to see all this technology come out, because we're like, this really levels the playing field. Now some of us broker local bands, we can put out our own music, but guess what? That meant so could another 250 more people.
Yep.
So now we're just completely saturated, where it's just so hard to stick out, because there's kids that are 16 years old with Cubase and Pro Tools making their own full line production music, and that was just unheard of. You remember, it must have been like $10,000 or $15,000 to put out your own CD, to record it, to mass produce it. You had to get pressed on vinyl, cassettes. I mean, that was insane back then. It was such a short period of time when you look at it. From the 60s to 1985, you pretty much had nothing but 4 tracks available to anybody, and they were either on reel-to-reel tapes or they eventually became on cassettes. And then think about it, in 10 years from 95 to 2005 or 98 to 2008, you went from having those 4-track cassette tapes to having your computer that had endless 48 tracks, and you could pick up a Tascam 24 digital recorder for $500-$600 and flush them to your laptop and mix them in Pro Tools, and only sing a chorus once and then just cut and paste it, and
Yep. Oh, it's amazing.
Before you were bouncing 1, 2, and 3 over to 4 while recording some tambourine at the same time, trying to get everything onto 4 with a tambourine, and
Yep. Well, now everybody can sound professional.
And the auto-tune's on them now. Well,
yeah, I guess that's about it.
That was good to do this.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well, thanks for coming in and talking today.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
She was dancing to the silence of a mystery. We were riding out